For YouTuber subscribers and friends and like, it's Grant coming at you from Shatter, Nebraska. It's June 13th, 2023, I believe. This is the car I brought home that you saw me make the last video of last night, or 2 days ago, I think it was. That right there is the car my mom has been driving. Virtually the same thing. We've got a 2003 Ford Expedition Eddie Bauer edition. Slightly better everything inside. This one is in a little older condition. It's the one I showed on the video 9 months ago. Faded on the roof and scratched and dings in different spots like that, so it's in a little bit worse condition, but we have that one now that I've just brought home. I'll show you the inside of it real quick. I can't get the mirror thing to fix to quit doing that by key fob. It's supposed to be a thing they had back in the day when the Filco was new, so that you could have key fob 1 would change your settings for the seats and the mirrors and everything. Key fob 2 would do the, the opposite of that. Only one she's got up right now is the middle seat, which isn't the great. It was probably doesn't show the best of conditions. I forgot to buy a car cover, windshield cover for the other one. She's been using this one. As you can see, that's her stuff that's in the car, but I was just showing you kind of the rough condition that it is in inside. It's a work in progress. I might end up keeping this car and taking the beds out. I mean, taking the seats out and putting the bed in it for the live-in factor of it. Maybe since I've got all the effort and time and effort in the front fixed. This one has brand new tires. They're $865 I paid for those 10 ply, 265, 70, or 17s, I believe. All brand new all the way around. New brakes and rotors. I paid $400 worth for the new brake and rotor job, all four all the way around. I had them do the tune-up, which is about $800 tune-up to do the spark plugs and wires on this one. So she runs pretty good. That one, I'll have to do the same stuff too. This one requires a tune-up. There might be a blown head in the front. We don't know for sure yet. The two mechanics I talked to about it said there's a 50-50 chance that it's just doing the same thing as this other one, where if I do the tune-up, the spark plugs and wires, it'll quit trying to burn coolant and gas and not be an actual head. Or it could be the top end. It's in the same spot, top end head gasket and the lifter on cylinder 1 that's messing up. The thing that surprised me the other day is I thought this one had more miles. On the last video, I'll have to make a correction on that. I thought I told you 250 or 260 when I got to go looking at it the other day. 197,097 when I looked at it. It's pretty close to 197,100 now. But, and then that one is 214. I think it was 839. Not exactly positive on the last 3 digits of it, but somewhere in the 214,000 mile range. So that one is actually about 15,000 miles more in mileage than that one. Which, when you think about the engine, what needs to be done for the engine work on the other one, and the fact that they might have driven it 15,000 miles, probably more than they should have, I'm not sure. I might have wear and tear and have a head gasket from that. But it's a top end head gasket if that's the case. It's not the bottom end. If it was the bottom end, it's closer to locking up. That's why people hear the word blown head gasket and all of a sudden they run away from whatever, fixing whatever, and they want to buy something else because there's a 50-50 chance of it, the engine locking up. That's only if you have the rear, the bottom, lower end head gasket where the oil mixes in with the coolant. Then you're steps away from the engine seizing up like that if you don't get it fixed. This one is the top end one, and it's probably caused by the cylinder 1 spark plug not being changed out when it should have been. It's a maintenance issue with these at 200,000 miles. They all need the tune-up, which includes 8 spark plugs and wires and the coils and stuff before you end up messing up the stuff like the lifters and going into the head. So this one might need a new head, potentially. We have a 50-50 chance of having to tear into the engine to redo the head on those last 2 cylinders. Because the thing is, cylinder 1 and 2 is kind of deceiving. These run on kind of 4 cylinders when they're in town, when you're not on the gas, and then when you're on the gas, they fire up all other 4 to make all 8 go. That's how 8 cylinder engine runs anyway, but that's how these ones were designed. So Ford was trying to be somewhat fuel efficient in town by only running the 4 cylinders and possibly run the 6, and then when you need the other 2, they fire on. Since they're not being used all the time, those ones are the 2, the cylinder 1 and 2 are the ones that don't get used all the time. They're used at the higher speeds in highway miles. So they're used and not used and used and not used, versus the other 6 are used all the time around in town, the 4 or 6 cylinder, the way, I'm not exactly sure how it works, but it's something like that, to where they're in use all the time and then they don't wear down or something. The seal on it don't. But then 1 and 2 do wear down because of the not using them and using them. So I'll show you the body condition on this one if I can get it into it. She's got parked a little close to the trees. I gotta shave the trees back, I think. A lot better body condition. This is the one I showed you on the video the other day that I just brought down to my mom to use both of them, make use of them. Plan A is to fix both cars. Put the same amount of money pretty much into this one as I put in the other one. Plan B would be to sell that one if I can find someone willing to buy it, and I have the paperwork proof for the tune up the tires and the brakes. I would sell it for the $5,000 I got in it, or I take the tires off of that one, put them on this one, and swap them for these ones that are not the great. I mean, they got about a year left, maybe. And then I would go down to I think it's 4,000. I'd drop 1,000 off of it if I can swap the tires, because I can easily take the tires and the rims off, switch them without having to do anything. So that's possibly plan B, is sell it for $5,000 or sell it for $4,000 depending on the tires or not. And then obviously that money would go right back into this one to fix the head and do all that stuff. Plan C, if push come to shove and for some reason they couldn't find the parts for the head or, you know, specific stuff, you know, they tore into this one. This one's head gasket in front and it is blown, and, you know, the motor's going to seize up and etc. like that. Then I'm going to have them take the guts out of this one and put it in that one and basically swap everything. So this one would have the worst body condition, would have the blown head, would have the Balder tires, would have the 50% brakes, because I'd swap out the brakes and rotors, pads and rotors out, and I'd end up with a nicer car for my mom to use for now and then me to use later sometime for this one. And then this one I'd end up at that point selling for maybe 1,000, trying to get scrap out of it, possibly. So, but I would prefer to go to plan A, keep this one around since I put all the time and effort into it, and then let my mom use this one, because the issue has always been, if I want to come back for my plan B from, you know, plan A for work is to obviously keep on working for Worldwide. Plan B would be to rip the seats out of this one, put a bed in it, and probably go to Texas. But I couldn't do that before because that would be leaving my mom on foot, and I didn't want to do that to her. But if she's got a better condition Eddie, she has this one, has everything, qualifies for her. She needs well, she says she needs a smaller car, but I think she needs a size car that way she has room to pack boxes and stuff, so in case she ever did have to move, they come in handy. And right now, when she's got both of them, she could pack them both full of stuff if she was going to move. But that's partly why I kind of got it, and then also I got it for me to where I'd have enough room to put a bed in there and go live in Texas. I like the sunroof. This one, I guess I could point that out. This one's got the sunroof, that one does not, which I pointed out in the other video. The minor difference is this one is two-wheel drive until you put the switch on. For all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, and it does work. You have the option of all-wheel drive where you can switch it to all-wheel drive and it will use the power in all 4 wheels when it needs to, or not, or you have four-wheel drive where it'll just stay in four-wheel drive all the time. That one only has the all-wheel drive option, which is the middle option where it will do two-wheel whenever it wants to, and then if it needs extra power, it'll put power to the other wheels to help it out. And it just drives in that all the time, which is fine. It's great for the winter time. All-wheel drive vehicles work excellent in the winter. But this one, once I get the head fixed, will be more of a gas saver because it's in two-wheel drive more often than not. Well, it's forced to be in two-wheel drive until you switch to the switch. So it's all the time for two-wheel drive until you switch it to the all-wheel drive or the four-wheel drive, and that will make for a little bit better of a gas saver. It's front wheel, front wheel two-wheel drive until you put the switch on, which will make it that one makes a little bit better of gas savings in nicer weather like this than this one would. This one would work out better in the winter than that one would, unless you put the switch on to put it to all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. That does work. I checked it out the other day. It does have the differential. Transfer case does work like it's supposed to. Check both the four-wheel drive all the time out, and then I've checked out the all-wheel drive where you gun it and see if it kicks in last second to make the back wheels go. And it worked. This one just does it all the time. So that's the difference. Is I don't mind the dings and dents because I know the amount of time and effort and everything we put into it to keep it. But she wants to go with plan B, which would be sell that other car and put the money into this one, which I told her, which $5 grand firm, or I take the tires off and go to $4 grand on it, swap it out with wall tires on the other one. And that's about the halfway middle plan. And then, like I say, plan C, if push came to shove, I would gut this one, take everything usable out of it, get it back to where it's drivable enough, and then either try to sell it for somebody to drive to fix up, or sell it for scrap somewhere at $1,000. I wouldn't really want to go below $1,000 because it'd still have $1,000 easily worth of parts and stuff in it. If it had to go that route, I don't want to go that route. But if there's no other option on this one because of the better body condition, I'd rather fix this one up for the long term of it. Because this one doesn't have much dents or anything. It was taken care of. It's probably put in the garage more so than anything. 214,000 miles. 197,000 miles, so they're about the same range. This one had the tune up and the maintenance stuff done to it before it caused a head problem. This one may or may not have a head problem. I don't know yet. Won't know for another month because I have to save up for a tow car, and then I gotta do the title switching and all that stuff for that one, and the title switching for the tow car, and then I'm probably gonna replate them both. If I end up keeping them both and the mechanic says we're good, this one's going to probably go to a custom plate Itty, and that one's probably going to go to a custom plate Bauer if I can get, when I'm at the Miles City office, courthouse, I'll ask them if I can get both of those. If I can get both, then I'll buy them both. If I can't get both, then I'm going to leave that one as is, and I'm probably going to get like a U instead of a V on the middle section so that they look pretty close to each other, but obviously the same color plate and everything. So that when you park them next door to each other, they look pretty close. Close enough, so to speak. A U instead of a V. That would be the cheaper route to go, but if I can get both an Itty and a Bauer custom plate, then I'm going to go that route. But I just thought I'd make the video on it all. The condition on this one. I guess the front has seat covers, so I can't really show you, because we just bought generic seat covers off of Amazon because a dog had chewed into both sides, and well, I have a video on it, you can see it, but the dog that they had in there had bit on both sides and scratched all the seats, the two front seats, from the wear and tear for people getting in them, and then the dog had the worst wear and tear, and then the back seats of course got the scratches and stuff, but they weren't bit into. So, and then this one has the nicer seats, almost brand new looking, like they've never even been touched. This one has a little bit of wear on the driver's side, starting from just people getting in and out of it right there, but I think that can get stitched up. Lot better conditioned car, has the radio and everything. The other one doesn't. I'll show you while I'm out in the video. Now, currently today we're working on putting together a makeshift pocket for that, where that radio was at, because my mom doesn't like it in there. It's heavy and it was disconnected, and she fears it's going to come out at her or something. And then if it's not connected, we might as well be using that for a pocket. So we're going to make we have a metal pocket in the house that we're put together out of, I think it was metal ducting, and then we're going to tape the inside of it with black tape, or else use Velcro and make a Velcro fur pocket out of the deal and put it in there, so that the wires have metal in the back and they won't catch anything on fire. And then the tape and Velcro in the front. We'll make it look like a regular black pocket that you can put anything in. Not like she needs it because they got that one down there. But if we're not making use of the radio works. I just haven't gotten time to rewire it. Might as well be using that for a pocket. So that's one of the bigger differences. And then obviously there's your sunroof that other one doesn't have. This one has the DVD player, the bottom of it, because we took the top of it off. It wasn't working anyway, and we're way past DVD player times, at least I think. I don't have no kids or nothing, so don't need it. So that's your average, what it kind of looks like side by side, and I'll post a picture of them side by side. But that's the work in progress. So what I wound up with is this one has good guts, but the body is not in the greatest condition. Even the muffler and catalytic converter underneath, I'm probably going to have to, if it were up to me, I would just straight pipe it. Get rid of the whole exhaust system, straight pipe it, because I'd get more horsepower out of the deal, but it'd be louder. My mom wouldn't like that, but in terms of if I put a bid in it and went to Texas, that's probably what I'd be doing. It'd be cheaper and louder, but then places like Texas and California don't like it. So I don't know for sure if I would or would not do that. But it's got exhaust issues too. Fixed next someday, but that's just whether you want it to be quiet or not. And this one's got the better body, but has the engine problems. So that's what we're left with. Like I say, if push come to shove, we'll put the guts of the other car into this and make one decent car out of the deal and one scrap car. But right now they're kind of half-half basically, because you got one with better body condition and the engine's not the greatest, and you have the one with the fixed up engine and the bad body condition. So I will let you know on the update on these cars as I get them fixed. But here in this next month I plan on buying a tow car and having to do everything with it, because it didn't have a tow kit on it. But it was a 92 Geo Metro, if I can still get it in Sheridan, Wyoming. If I haven't managed to tick that guy off, I gotta call him. But I might get a tow car and then put the tow bar on it. So the next few videos are probably going to be stuff about that and worldwide and work and stuff. So these videos will have to continue in about a month when I get them both driving on the street and I get that one's engine fixed and so forth. It'd be about a month, middle of July probably, before I'm looking at doing anything else with these ones. But like and subscribe, leave comments, and as always, I'll catch you in the flip. Peace.